Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to catch you up and give you my progress so far on getting Captain America to tier 3 because he's the only character right now that can do that before we get the part 2 of Infinity War update perhaps. But I also wanted to talk about some growing sentiments that I've seen in the community as far as the costs to tier 3 a character, or the character, because there's only one right now. So let's start off with the good stuff first. I've been both lucky and unlucky. Now, aside from doing all of my world boss ultimate attacks and 5 clears per day, I did end up purchasing the smaller pack in the store that gives you some crystals, some dust, and some of the Titan component packs. I always forget the name there. Not this larger one, but the much smaller one that has lesser rewards. It's the one that's not listed here because I've already purchased it. But aside from that, I haven't made any other purchases, so the amount of stuff that I have is pretty close to what you would have if you've just been playing World Boss Ultimate every single day. Of course, for brand new players, you're not able to get 5 clears per day. It's a different story. But for most intermediate players and all veterans, this is the case that you're in, and you're going to be about as close as I am, unless you've been unlucky with gears or unless you've been unlucky with books. So this is what it looks like for me right now after about 90, I believe it's 95 clears of World Boss Ultimate. That's how many days we've had of the new World Boss Ultimate Proxima since the April 25th update, if my math is correct. So just under 100. I thought it'd be a pretty interesting thing to take a look at. Of course, you're going to marvel at the humongous boosts. We have almost 100,000 HP when we hit that advancement. We have almost 40,000 physical attack, which is unheard of for almost any character, let alone Captain America, without a physical damage leadership right now, which is insane. But yeah, aside from the crystals, which I got about 135 of from the purchase, so that would have brought me down to about 370, and the dust and the Titan component packs, I still only have 8 books. And this is where I connect this idea of how far I've progressed, being a moderately big spender. I'm VIP 13 right now and almost 14, having played since the first day the game came out. And I'm still only this far. I still only have 8 books, and this connects to the sentiment that I've seen from some players in the community, from a small minority, but still a number of players, that there's too much to grind for, that the tier 3 advancement is too difficult. Now, there is an additional cost to the tier 3, which is to get the character's gears to level 25. I didn't do all of the calculations for those because there is some variability in terms of how lucky or unlucky you get with gears, but you do need additional black antimatter. You do obviously need gold, as always, and then you need additional dust and Titan component packs. But all of that you will get through regular grinding, and those 3 materials are among the most plentiful or the most frequently dropped by the World Boss Ultimate stages. So I would argue that the gears are not that much of a thing to worry about. Additionally, getting the gears to 25 is really only super important for characters that you either want to be really strong right now, like Winter Soldier for Extreme Alliance Battle, or specifically for Cap, because the gear 25 requirement is only needed for tier 3, and right now, guys, there's only one tier 3 character. And I also want to take a second to compare this to the tier 2 update. When we got that tier 2 update, where it introduced the idea of tier 2 upgrading your tier 1 character to the next level, we got quite a few tier 2s. Of course, we had the native tier 2s, Proxima, Corvus, and Black Dwarf, but we also had some tier 2s from the Civil War event, like Falcon, Captain America, Iron Man, stuff like that. But you could purchase in the store, as part of the original anniversary pack, you could purchase all the materials that you needed to tier 2 a character. You got the black antimatter, you got the Chaos Norn Stones, and then all you needed to do was get the additional materials, like the biometrics and stuff like that, to get the character to tier 2, and then you could upgrade them. So it was a much different scenario than we have now, and even with my account, with my level of spending, with my level of play, I still don't have what I need to tier 3 Captain America. And of course it falls down to the books, but that is one thing that I think Netmarble has improved hugely upon, which I think is not being considered highly enough, or it's not being considered enough by the community in that sense. The books are non-negotiable. You gotta get them, and you only get them through playing World Boss Ultimate. Now, there was a bug, I guess, that allowed people to collect more than 10 books. That bug has since been patched out, so Unfortunately, we can't save any more of these combat books. Fortunately, for whoever of you were lucky enough to get more than 10, you kind of scored big and you'll have a head start on the next combat tier 3. But for players like me who got unlucky, or others who were even more unlucky than I have, even less than 8 books, this is the status that they're in. And even if they have the gears, even if they have all of the other advancement materials, without the books they can't advance, and you can't purchase the books, which evens the playing field. And I think that's the most important part, is trying to find some even footing, because I've spoken to people on my live stream who are playing a lower stage of World Boss Ultimate, so they're not playing the highest possible difficulty, and they have, you know, characters who are not built as well, etc. And they had more books. They had 10 books by now, or 12, or even 14. I kid you not. Some people have almost twice as many books as I do. And part of this, of course, falls down to RNG. They're getting luckier than I am. But it's also to even the playing field. Because if you can clearly get ahead by just brute forcing something with your roster, with your credit card, etc., it creates an imbalance. And if that imbalance is unnatural and it's going to favor certain players who just choose to be better, then that is going to create an obvious advantage-disadvantage situation. But the way that it is now, we do have some tier 3 Captain Americas roaming around in the wild, and you can see them when you go into the top list characters in the game. Even probably rank 8 is probably tier 3 already. Boom, there you go, and it probably goes further down than that. But it's kind of a random assortment of players. You don't just see the highest level players in the largest alliances getting lucky. Some of these players are in kind of just vanilla or chocolate kind of alliances, and there's really not much else to it. I mean, that's just the case. And so I really think that's something that's being sort of misinterpreted or misconstrued by the community. I do think that the grind for tier 3 is long. I did some calculations here, and I wanted to introduce some stats for you guys so you guys can consider it for your own purposes, and for kind of setting your own goals for getting these characters to tier 3 or getting their gears to 25. Aside the gear 25 situation, my average rewards for World Boss Ultimate after about 95 runs, I got on average about 61 black antimatter per run, 8 chaos nordstones per run, which is quite low, but still 14 of the dimension dust that you need that's in those boxes there. Oh, I can't look at it anymore because I have the gears of 25, so 14 of those dusts. Only 10 of the Titan component packs, which kind of makes sense. I'm seeing much less of it than anything else. And then 5 of the cosmic cube fragments. That's by far the rarest item besides the actual Titan record Thanos diary books that I only have 8 of. So with those numbers involved, aside from the Titan records, because it's a very strange thing, I got 3 today, but before that I had gone multiple days with 0, so it's kind of up and down in terms of the rarity. It would take you about 32 days of playing World Boss Ultimate 5 times per day to build up 800 Cosmic Cube Fragments. Now, you can use Cosmic Cube Fragments for leveling up characters' potentials, but why you would do that, I don't know. So if you look at it that way, taking 1 month to build up enough materials to tier 3 a character through the Cosmic Cube Fragment calculation, which is the rarest item or the one that drops the least often. I mean, you can compare, you know, almost 3 times as much dust will drop compared to Cosmic Cube Fragments. Now, I know you will need dust to build up characters' gears, so it may end up that you'll be shorter on dust and Titan component packs than you will be on Cosmic Cube Fragments, or even Black Antimatter for that case. But if you take the rarest item in this situation, in this equation, which is the Cosmic Cube Fragments, and you calculate how long it'll take you to get enough of that to tier 3 a character, and then if you also calculate the fact that you only have 1 tier 3 character in the game to work towards right now, Captain America, it doesn't seem like such a bleak outlook anymore. And I think it's something that's brought a lot of renewed energy to the game. I think it's really fun to see people excited, hoping to get what they need to tier 3 their cap, and especially when it comes to underutilized or underdog characters like Captain America, to see them get their tier 3s, even if it is something that takes you a month or more to do. is really enjoyable, and witnessing the raw power, them out DPSing characters like Anti-Man in Extreme Alliance Battle, which is hilarious. One-shotting characters in Shadowlands, you just got to be careful about that. I think it's something that should be welcomed, and I think especially when you look at the way that it was handled the first time around with the introduction of Tier 2, that it was basically something that you could purchase to accelerate, and we have this new system that you cannot just throw your wallet at to speed up. You definitely can to a certain extent with the gears, for the dust and the Titan component packs and the cosmic cube fragments, but you cannot buy the books. And so someone could have spent hundreds of dollars literally and gotten their cap to tier 3 readiness besides those books, and then if they were as unlucky as me, to this day they would still be unable to tier 3 their Captain America. So I think the change to the purchase versus non-purchasable items is fantastic. I think that the drop rate for the advancement materials is reasonable, but I want to know what you guys have to say about it. We did see the teaser, or we did see kind of a leaked version of World Boss when Netmarble was doing that live stream on Facebook, and in that version there were 10 entries allowed for World Boss Ultimate instead of 5, so it is possible that we will be seeing that upgrade with the second part of the Infinity War update. I think with that change, it would definitely erase any doubt in my mind that the grind is too great of a grind, but it is a question that comes up with almost every new update that creates major changes in any kind of ARPG title. How much grind is too much grind, and how much is enough, and where are we on that kind of scale? Have we gone too far to the too much grind area, or is it not enough grind where we get through things too quickly and the game is just kind of boring? So let me know where you think that we fall on that seesaw, whether the grind is too great, the grind is too little, or we're in kind of a sweet spot right now, because honestly that's my feeling, but I want to hear yours and I might be wrong. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of my content, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.